inmendham video. Another video I really don't want to make. Don't like whatever, shooting at the soldiers in the same trench kind of thing, or how we want to look at it. Friendly fire or something. Except it's not really friendly. You know, but these liberals are the kind of liberals the world just doesn't need. These young Turks. Their whole support for the whole immigration thing, when it's really a dead-end issue for anybody rational. And you know, Bernie Sanders and his just borrow billions of dollars more, just like Reagan. Somehow it makes sense. Borrow and spend. Just stupid. And then this stupidity, this gross hypocrisy, where they're just making excuses for their little sugar daddy, you know, whatever. They're the corporations that are feeding them, that pay them. And so they, just a few days ago, posted videos about how some company, Sinclair, is got these horrible onerous contracts for their news reporters, and they have to be obedient to this jargon, they have to read scripts. And yeah, clearly they're not being required to read anything except read the writing on the wall they signed, which is, this is how you play the game. You have to suck dick, and they're comfortable doing that, and then being hypocritical about it, complaining about something else. So we could just imagine that if some Mexicans were abused by Monsanto over a very long period and given absolutely no customer service, no resolution policy, and then some of the Mexicans went la postala, they'd be saying, Monsanto, you have to own up, take responsibility. You created this situation, and it had every indication of you were stirring a pot that could blow up, that could boil and bubble and do something, and you just didn't care because it wasn't in your financial interest to care, to give a crap. You thought you were going to get away with it, didn't you, Monsanto? I mean, you can just see how they would be pointing their finger. And yet they don't point a finger at all. No fingers get pointed at the richest corporation, the one that's paying them. So they don't like Fox News being financed by billionaires. And they don't like CNN being financed by whatever, the Shyster brothers. But they don't think there's anything wrong with them being financed by the richest corporation in the world, because it's googly fun. No, it isn't. It's googly evil. And they can't say it because they know, oh, all the perks and all the freebies end. You know, I'm not a privileged citizen anymore. It's that simple. Self-interest. Nothing to do with any social cause, any social principle. Completely unprincipled shit. And that's what they stand for, clearly. And they're just demonstrating. They're being aggressive. Like, okay, they made their first little crappy video. They should have just said, let's stay the hell away from this subject because we're nothing but losers on it. We're nothing but shills for the corporations. And so let's not even talk. We did our one show. That's enough show. That's enough bullshit. Let's just stay the hell away. But no, they have to dig in deeper. And they do it in such a slimy way. So yeah, I have to play this video because it's just so slimy. I couldn't even watch it all. So we'll both be surprised by the big fun ending maybe. But it's just a steaming pile of fucking sellout shit. So, I mean, you know, this is a real problem. We need a better Democratic Party. These kinds of liberals are not the answer.
The right wing's response to the YouTube shooting continues, and it is incredible to see just how many people want to blame the...
Okay, so it's amazing that she's saying the right wing is blaming YouTube. I bet you that's not what most of the corporatists are doing. I bet that's not what they're doing. Most of them are probably not doing that. I think there's probably a pretty good guarantee they're not doing that. I haven't heard what Trump had to say, but I'm sure Trump didn't say YouTube did ask for it and we have to do something about these corporations who just don't give a shit about the people they're seducing into their little marketing plans, you know, into their little pyramid schemes.
Victims when it comes to this particular shooting. So we have a couple examples for you, and unfortunately we will begin with...
Let's see how many examples there are. So she says there's a couple of examples. So far I only saw one example. So you know, so I'm just nitpicking because she nitpicks in such a hilarious way that I just show you what an asshole nitpicker looks like. So she said a couple of examples. I bet you there won't be a couple.
With Alex Jones and his commentary on how YouTube invited.
See, this is what I don't like about liberals, right? Is you take somebody as evil, as stupid, and ignorant as Alex Jones, you wait for him to say something actually intelligent, right? And then you try to mock that. And it's just so fucking stupid. So this is just like your every Arab is a, you know, every Muslim, to be clear, every Islamic person is just some wonderful, charming thing, okay? And everybody should just love religious kooks, you know. You know, and you're just so defeating the progressive purpose. You're just making your little tent smaller and smaller and smaller, and saying we're going to take over the world with our little tiny tent. It's just so fucking counterproductive.
This upon themselves. Take a look.
YouTube is demonetizing, as I said, everybody but establishment stuff.
Well, let's understand. They didn't just demonetize. They control what is made available, okay? What's linked and how the search function works. It's all a racket. I've demonstrated this many times in the past where you could search on my videos and you won't even get, my channel doesn't come up, my videos don't come up. I mean, it's clearly broken in substantial ways. You don't even know whether comments are visible or invisible. It's all a rigged system where there's deliberate noise and chaos created just so nobody can see what the fuck's going on, what the agenda is. And there's clearly an agenda that YouTube is imposing.
The left at first was like, yay, the last few years, censor conservatives, screw them over. And then now almost everyone's being censored, but
I don't even think that's what the left was saying, right? Because, okay, I don't know, yeah, they demonetized some guns, but clearly the left was in favor of all the wacky Muslims having the right to talk about overthrowing, you know, the heathens and shit, and I'm sure they were bothered by the, you know, the suggestive content and the sexual content and all that content being damaged.
a few handful, maybe 100 leftist talk shows who then get force-fed to everybody and pushed out because they're anti-American, and then they still are monetized, but they'll be removed as well.
It seems clear, okay, that there is an agenda, and it is a corporation after all. And so, like most of the games Google plays, this is probably another game where they try to put as friendly a face, as fluffy a face as they can on their image, but the game is still a sinister corporate game.
Joe, this is the process of how censorship works. The globalists don't want anybody having free speech. But you know, you take artists and you take their material and then you use them to build your organization up.
Let's understand, and there was a lawsuit brought by, I can't remember the company, damn, not Viacom, or some company that owned a ton of TV shows, you know, the rights to them, and they sued YouTube. And when Google bought YouTube, there was actually a provision made for the fact that they knew the lawsuit was coming, because YouTube was founded on stealing content. It was entirely built for the purpose of creating eyeballs to the website so they could sell it to a big company like Google. That was entirely the motives. That was all revealed in court. The entire purpose of YouTube was never to be YouTube. It was to be a fake entity that encouraged people to steal copyrighted material, and so they could broadcast stolen material and make money on it. And that's all it was, because it brought in eyeballs, and that was the key. Get a million viewers, and then you can sell the company for big bucks. And that's exactly what they did. They successfully ran a racket, and they did it completely successfully. And when it was all shown and exposed, all the emails, all the bullshit was exposed in court, a lunatic judge said, "Nah, it's all okay." You know, they only stole billions of dollars worth of your value. What are you complaining about? It's that insane. That's how insane this whole bullshit thing is. And to defend this company that was founded dirty and then bought by Google and run really as just a marketing a way to collect marketing data. They're just collecting data on us. What we click on, what little images make us click, what all of that. That's all they're doing. They're just figuring out, they're just getting data to figure out how to manipulate us. And that's it. That's all they care about, is how to manipulate human beings. They don't care. There's no YouTube thing here. There's no you broadcast yourself. This is a fake, completely a fake facade, okay, that we're given. And we could expect it, even if it's going to be fake and full of shit, we could sit there and say some minimum thing, minimum little tiny requirements that you're obligated to respect, the fact that you can't be duplicitly hypocritical in the imposition of your terms of service. Your terms of service cannot possibly be legally binding in any way if you don't apply them ever, evenly or fairly. Ever. And for these punk Turks to sit there and talk as if Google has in some way made any effort at all, any effort at all, spent $1, okay, on improving its relationships to the producers on this site, is just such bullshit.
YouTube, meaning the people, and then you censor it, and I've seen the videos. This is not censorable stuff. But they don't want...
So he's seen the videos. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that statement. I saw some of the videos. So you could see the videos. So, you know, she's going to later imply that Alex Jones is lying. He's not lying. You could see the videos.
Yeah, let's put some of this on screen. This is what they censored. Is her doing yoga exercises and basic stretching exercises. And NasimABC.com.
Right. Now she has a whole video where she actually shows this and then actually shows the other videos that are not demonetized on YouTube where, you know, the chick's ass is hanging out and you can see camel toes and all kinds of shit. Right? So clearly not an even standard. Clearly demonstrated in her videos. I've demonstrated the completely uneven standard. I've lost 2 channels by this indiscriminate, idiotic bullshit policy of YouTube to just don't give a shit about the truth. Don't give a shit about anything called an honest terms of service interpretation. If you don't like the do not God name, the interpretation is one way. If you like the name of the channel, the interpretation is another way. Period. Has nothing to do with being fair, has nothing to do with being legally honest or binding. It's a complete sham. And these sellouts can't admit, yes, that sham should have been fixed. Should have been fixed 10 years ago.
NasimSABZ.com. You can go there. We've gone and looked. I mean, there's just nothing there to censor, and it's terrible that she shot 3 people.
So let me just...
So he says it's terrible that she shot 3 people. So that's how he ends. And so listen to what she's going to say.
Begin by addressing the very last thing he said, where he claimed that he went to that website to check the type of content that was demonetized. And by the way, demonetized means the advertisements were pulled from that ad, right?
Yeah, it wasn't pulled from that ad, so you can't even get that right. But yes, the ad, she was her videos. She got 10 cents for 300,000 views or something because yes, her videos were demonetized, and okay, as she also argued, she was clearly demoted in terms of how her videos were represented on YouTube in terms of availability. So they obviously weren't coming up with the search results anymore. They obviously, all of her older videos were getting half the views they were before. So a significant half the view numbers. Significant demotion for no crime.
That personal website was taken down immediately.
Why exactly? And the website wasn't taken down. Well, again, okay. I don't know how fast the website was taken down, but clearly YouTube took down all the videos, so they were embeds on the website, so you wouldn't be able to view them even if you could view the website. But clearly you could view the website. You just go to the Wayback website, and you could view websites at different periods of time in history, so you could still view the website, and the links, many of them still worked. So it's just wrong to say Alex Jones couldn't find the videos. I found them. You can find them. You can't find all of them, but you can certainly find some of them.
Meaning that before she was identified, authorities had taken down her website. No one had access to it. You can go to it right now. It is gone. No one had access. He didn't.
Okay, so she's all pleased with herself, right? But no, the actual structure of the website, all the text on the website, and all the video links are still on the internet. You just have to know where to look. So, again, she's all pleased with herself. No, there's no way you could have seen any of that. Yeah, there is a way you could have found it. Because I found it.
Not see the types of videos that were demonetized. He just lies to his audience.
Right, so you're saying he shows the clip of her video, and she's implying that he's lying, that somehow he didn't see the videos. Now, whether or not he went to the website personally, so every time one of you Turkey people say you did this or you did that, it's not because some staff person actually watched the show and you're going to report on it, right? Everything you say happened, you personally did it, you personally talked to a reporter, you personally talked to somebody at the New York Times. No, of course none of that shit happened, so you're constantly lying, you know, by your own standards, you liar.
Over and over again.
I really hate when she has this bun thing. Okay, I remember she wore that bun thing. The first time I saw her with that fucking bun was the night Trump got elected. And I mean, that was already vomit-worthy, and she just made it so much worse. I mean, it's such a bad look for her. But you know, look who's talking. But I'm just saying, oh, buns on women. Bad idea. Bad idea.
With that said, really, that's your take on this?
Yeah, his take was it was terrible that she shot 3 people. And his take is that clearly YouTube, the corporation, treats us like shit. That's a fact. Now, it doesn't treat you like shit, but it treats us like shit. Okay? You're not one of us. You're not one of these 10,000 view people who've been on here for 10 years, okay, and who do this free speechy thing, okay, in the real honest way. I don't have any of these things monetized because I wouldn't play with a corporation ever, because all the corporations suck, okay, they're all evil, and we should replace them with public YouTubes, real us tubes, not them tubes. They shouldn't be invited to our party, the thems. You better not.
At YouTube demonetized videos, and so people are...
It's always something. Not now.
Angry, the globalists are after us, and so a woman shot innocent people working at YouTube.
Okay, so again, they're innocent people working at YouTube. So all the people working at Monsanto are innocent. All the people working at all the other corporations that might have an incident happen because they totally abuse people, that because you see their plight, you have some empathy for it because it's not the corporation paying for your watch and for your suit and for your luxuries. Therefore, that corporation could be ridiculed for treating people like shit, but your company, the company that pays your bills, that finances your set and finances your little industry that you're playing with, everything's fine because it's paying your bills. So your hypocrisy is just obvious. If this was any other corporation that traditionally and systemically and continually treated people like shit, and then one of those people goes postal, you would definitely be pointing your finger saying, couldn't have this corporation done something to prevent this? Wasn't this a completely preventable pain and suffering? Wasn't this a horror that should have never happened? It's quite obvious that this should have never fucking happened. And it only happened because YouTube doesn't give a shit about YouTube.
It almost seems like you're justifying the shooting.
Right, he says right there, it's terrible, it's tragic that she shot 3 people. So, you know, but yeah, so anytime you point out that somebody should take responsibility for the fact that somebody freaks out or are reactionaries, I can hold you to this standard in the future then. And so you'll be a lot more understanding that the abused really don't have much of a protest right. They really don't have a right to push buttons or to cross they don't have a right to cross. You know, when the cops put up their barriers, they don't have a right to reach over those barriers. And as soon as they do, they should have the shit kicked out of them. So we'll never see you apply these standards that you're applying in this one instance because it's about your wallet, and you're so obvious.
I mean, this is insane.
Right, it's insane. It's insane. When, again, this has been going on the whole time Google has owned YouTube. The whole fact that it has broken all of the infrastructure, okay, all of the response videos, all of the features that gave us the power to index videos into categories, to, you know, create a structure here. YouTube has broken every bit of it. And for what purpose but to create their control, to take control away from us as consumers and producers, period. And you can't find anything wrong with that. And you look right out of their minds. Right, so you're out of your minds if you blame Monsanto for abusing employees. You see some tragedy, some corporation abuses people somewhere, that's never the truth, okay? No, you're out of your minds to think the corporation could possibly be responsible for creating a circumstance where there was a bunch of unnecessary harm. You're just such frickin' hypocrites.
So, and then he goes, well, I can't believe that they would target me. You just justified a shooting at their headquarters.
So he says, you can't believe you're targeting me. So, again, you think there should never be any blowback. I'm just saying, I just don't think you would apply these standards in any other circumstance except the one that's filling your fat belly with steak. You shank.
And you get to feel aggrieved that they're not giving you money.
Right, it's a partnership agreement, right? And the partnership is based on the terms of service. So there's no indication that she violated any term of service, especially in any kind of malicious way, and if ever in any kind of gratuitous way, or excessive way, or anything other than what might be indicated as an accident, because it seems like it was very important to her to maintain her channel. So clearly she was categorized, she was profiled, and you're saying she has no right to be aggrieved. Okay, she is a second-class citizen. They treat her like a second-class citizen, and that's okay with you because you're first-class citizens and you know you're better than we are. That's all you're saying here, crank.
Demonetized does not mean censored.
Yeah, it does. So this is hilarious, right? So if they demonetized Fox News, if the billionaires took away all their money, the financing for all of the shrinking head, you know, whatever you call it, talking head bullshit shops they run, and all the other bullshit they run in the society, you're saying that that wouldn't hurt them in any way. The right would just be just as strong without all the propaganda money. So these are the same people that do videos about how the Shyster brothers are controlling the media with their money, and yet they're going to argue that money doesn't matter. Money's irrelevant. Money doesn't mean anything. Has no influence whatsoever. You can do just as good of videos with money as without money. Doesn't make any difference at all, except if chank.
You could still have your videos up on YouTube. You can't have your videos up on ABC or CNN.
Okay, so amazing. So now he's comparing a video site, right, that was an inevitable evolution in the function of the internet, right? And it was always going to be a dominant player because that's the whole indexing rules, right? I mean, the whole law of connectedness. So if it wasn't Facebook, it would have been Rear Book or Butt Book or Eyeball Book. It would have been something else that would have been the dominant player, and that's how it always works. It tends to be a monopoly thing. So obviously there's lots of other people who would like to run a video site, and they just can't get enough people to migrate to their platform. And that's because to migrate to their platform means you're going to obscurity. And that's a function partly that's broken because of Google itself, because Google's such a lousy search engine and it provides so little options for us to tailor the searches or to control the searches. They control what we see, we don't get to control what they provide. Those are the Google rules. That's the corporation they love. That's the corporation they defend. It's been manipulating us for a decade, and they're just kissing up to the fucking people paying their paycheck. That's simple. It's just so obvious. So they say this isn't TYT, what network? We're not corporate news. You're corporate fucking news. One corporate. One corporation news.
And YouTube allows that, but you spit in their eye and you go, oh.
She never spit in anybody's eye. She didn't do anything wrong. She had her eye spit in. So why don't you force YouTube to provide her emails, to provide the correspondence they responded to her objection. So I'm sure she sent emails saying, why are you doing this? There's nothing wrong with my video. Why are you doing this to me? And I'm sure they sent back a computer forum letter saying, fuck you, bitch. And you know it, Shanky. You know that's exactly what the fuck happened, and you're defending it. They made this thing happen because the employees of Google and YouTube are just sinister little trolls. They're little putsies who sit there and press delete buttons on people, and they have no sense of responsibility. Like they have to even send me an email saying, look, I'm a religious fanatic and I don't like your tone about this do not godding. So I'm deleting you, okay? They don't even do you that much. And you're defending it, you creep.
Well, you know, somebody, I guess you guys had it coming that somebody came to...
Yeah, so how many, let's find out how many times he says, has it coming. So for all the misbehavior of all the other corporations and the rest of it, when something happens, and he'll be pointing out how they had it coming. And everybody could see it was in the writing. Everybody could see this disaster happening. And he couldn't see this disaster happening.
Murder all of you because you didn't give...
Right, well, whatever. You know, again, anytime somebody, as a victim, overreacts, will this guy have the integrity to say the victim's completely to blame? The corporation was not to blame. They didn't do anything wrong. They didn't violate anybody's right. It's okay to fire people 6 months before their pension and knock, 30 grand out of their pension. These are all perfectly legitimate things that businesses do, and they should never, they never cause blowback. They're never the instigators of a problem. They never stir the pot. No, 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 never happens. There's no pot stirring corporations. There's no corporations right now creating a future problem right now, stirring it and creating it. By this asshole's judgment? No. He's such a fucking hypocrite.
Me the money that I think I deserve as an artist.
And look, here's the thing. I think that conversation...
Understand, I don't make any money, so the whole money part isn't what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing the fact that she was clearly a second-class citizen and treated like one, and that's the fact. There's second-class citizens on this platform, period. And it's okay with this elitist fat prick and this fucking bun-headed twerp.
About demonetization and the frustrations that people are feeling about that are completely justified.
Okay, so that in a sense is, okay, I'm going to play the game like I feel your pain. So this is just Clintonism, right? But wait for the punchline.
A lot of people relied on YouTube for, either a huge portion of their income, like us, or for all of their income. And so I understand that frustration. But it's important to have that conversation.
Hilarious. The conversation has been taking place for years. For years, the conversation's been taking place. And what does YouTube provide? Robotic email replies. There's absolutely no feedback from YouTube. No communication whatsoever. I've never talked to somebody at YouTube. I've never sent an email and got something back where I could say, that's a human being responding to me. Ever. So this is just such a pile of shit. We should have had a conversation with a brick wall. Why didn't you talk to the brick wall for another 6 months or another 6 years? Why don't you just, my do not account was deleted, 5 years ago. All right? And lots of appeals to get it back. All brick walls. Brick wall, brick wall, brick wall, brick wall. And she's just saying to the victims, you should have just banged up against the brick wall for the rest of your fucking life. Fuck you.
And with actual evidence, rational...
Okay, yeah, actual evidence that's now been deleted by YouTube. So the actual evidence is in her videos, no doubt. And they've hidden that truth. So yes, we'll have to piece all of that together. But are you going to ask your corporation to reveal the 911 tapes, so to speak? Are we going to get the truth about what communication she had with YouTube in an attempt to resolve the problem? And what was YouTube's response? Are you going to ask that that be part of the public record here before you crucify her? You blame the victim for their complete malicious lack of consideration.
Conversations, reasoning, logic. That is not the conversation that's happening right now. Why
are where is it not happening? It's been happening. I've been hearing about these people complaining about their monetization for at least a year. So that's crap. And the fact that YouTube has been indiscriminately censoring content conversation has been going on for 10 years. And the fact that they don't have a honestly applied terms of service. And there's lots of doubts about what content they promote and what content they demote in terms of its visibility. And these games have been played for 10 years. The conversation's been happening for 10 years. And it's talking to a brick fucking wall. And here you're defending the brick wall because you're on the other side of it. You're part of it. You're part of the closed fucking mind of this corporation. And you're talking like you're fucking some kind of news site that you're on our side. The fuck you are.
Videos being demonetized. What is the root of the problem?
What other corporation what do they have to buy you? What does a corporation have to buy you? A little gold ring for your bun, and then you'll talk wonderful shit for them? What's your sellout price, bitch?
What can YouTube do to improve their algorithm? So
like it's about the algorithm. Like again, it's just such horseshit. You know, oh yeah, we should just be subjected. Everything should be subjected to a piece of software. We're not even entitled to a person hitting a delete button. We'll just get deleted by a piece of software. I mean, on its face, how do you make that make any sense? We don't get 25 seconds of somebody's time at YouTube. I'm not entitled to 25 seconds a year to merely say, you know, the video doesn't have any porn in it. Yeah.
Innocent videos that aren't bad don't get demonetized. Those are fair conversations to have, but...
It's already happened. The conversation is ignored. There is no conversation. It's just a lie to say YouTube has a conversation. They might have a conversation with you. They never have a conversation with any of us. So that's just bullshit from your elitist ivory tower bullshit. Okay, that's just like some inheritance wealther telling everybody to pull up their bootstraps. You're just full of shit.
Unfortunately, we're seeing the most extreme people having the most nonsensical discussions.
Again, the most extreme people. Where? Where's all this extremism and all these nonsensical conversations? Where? Where? What are you talking about? This is just hysterical overreaction. Protect the corporation. The corporation's wonderful. Victims suck.
And essentially, you know, persuading people to take action, and that's not good. That is not good. We need to...
Okay, so that should be... Take that clip in the next election. They're trying to persuade people to take action. So that's her political philosophy. Don't take action. Sit on your couch. You know, take the dildo up your ass. You know, probably something she does.
Stop giving people like this, you know, the ability to
the people like this. Alex Jones, for one time in his life, actually spoke some reasonable truth, and she's mocking it. Hilarious.
You know, basically incite people and create this fear and paranoia.
Yes.
Right. And they don't do any of that with all this hysterical overreaction, you know, every time a Muslim goes postal.
So look, we're greatly frustrated by the demonetization issue as well. I'm also concerned that the establishment media is going to come and tell YouTube, Google, Facebook, and all those guys, only runs CNN. They're the only quote-unquote legitimate news.
Yeah, whatever. And I don't think there's so many people watching news on YouTube anyway, so I think they'll just go to CNN and watch CNN. So that's kind of a funny joke here anyway, that he's actually afraid that he's not going to be enough of a darling of YouTube, okay, when they essentially created the Young Turks. As he pointed out, they were partnered, one of the first partners YouTube had. So, you know, yeah, you're being really realistic. Yeah, you're just showing how you're one of us. Lie some more.
I think that's garbage. I think it's not true. And it is a way to shut out independent voices and their competition. But that doesn't make...
Again, he's saying independent voices, and here they are making 2 videos where they're just talking exact propaganda for the biggest marketing company in the world. A marketing company. It's not even like Monsanto. It's not making food or anything. It's a fucking company that makes advertising. Puke.
I think Alex Jones' argument's correct. So, number one, just even justifying that shooting in any way, shape, or form is hideous and horrific.
Okay, I'm just going to call you on that then. Every single time you critique or criticize a corporation for grieving some victim that overreacts, and you require them to take some responsibility, we just put the big hypocrisy word. Hypocrisy, hypocrisy. That's all you are, is a fat hypocrisy. Fatty.
But number two, like if you go to the core of the argument, I'm an artist. I put my video on YouTube. This is this argument. And YouTube...
10 years, okay? It's not like I put a video on YouTube, okay? She invested in green screen. She did the editing stuff. She had many channels, different subjects. Clearly a little bit more of an investment than that. So just pretend, you know, like it was the Young Turks without a partnership. Go back in time and think about how it was in the old days. Fucking idiot.
Must pay me. No, they don't have to pay you. There's a billion other platforms. And
okay, so a billion other platforms. He's basically justifying now white only. Okay, this isn't fundamental infrastructure. This isn't, you know, public accommodation. No, you just go somewhere else where no people are, because that improves your free speech rights, right? You don't go where the people are. You don't have a right to be on the medium where the people are. You have to go to the alley, okay, the back alley, okay, and hold up your protest sign. And that's what he's justifying, because you're the wrong color, okay? Your name sounds Muslim, so yeah, fuck you. We don't even know why she was treated shabbily, okay? But clearly was some reason like that, and this asshole's defending it. Yeah, second-class citizen. You have second-class speech. Could be because she was a vegan. Would that bother you, Chank? If there was actually a YouTube employee who hit the demote button because he was a fat meat eater and didn't like that, hey, she's one of them snarky vegan bitches. And that's clearly what happens on YouTube. It's that gross. Any employee, she pointed out, my channel got controlled by an employee, okay? One employee. And she's probably not wrong. It's probably perfectly correct. One employee looked at the video, said, I don't like fucking radical vegans. Demote. And that's what happened, jackass. You're going to demand those facts because that's probably the real story, shithead. And then you're going to still defend it, shithead? You fucking corporate shill.
Some of them pay you, some of them don't pay you. Whether you want to put up videos there is your choice. This is a similar argument that people...
All right, we have no rights. We're not right-enabled on this medium. The internet hasn't dominated... Okay, I don't want to make my public soapbox arguments again, but clearly the free speech infrastructure has moved to the internet. We have some fundamental rights to some public sidewalks, and these assholes seem completely oblivious to that concept. These civil rights, social justice warriors can't figure that out because they're being fed. They have a good meal, so they're just basically saying, what are you complaining? You got something on your plate, right? There's plate on the plate. Isn't plate on your plate enough? A big pile of air, you know, air is good. What are you complaining about? Go get some of that Vimeo air. Why don't you move to Vimeo, Turkey? See how many views you get over there.
About Huffington Post, and liberals made it about Huffington Post. They said, well, I wrote articles for them, and so they should have paid me when they got the big payout from AOL or whatever. But did they ever say they were going to pay you? No, that wasn't the deal. I wrote for Huffington Post. I wrote a lot for Huffington Post.
Yeah, you did.
I was one of their top bloggers. Not a big deal.
Definitely
Actually,
not a big deal.
Anyway.
Yeah, is that back when you were doing the women are asshole thing? You know, that you had to apologize for?
So, but they never told me they were going to pay me. The deal was, I write for you, you feature it. And they did that. They honored their end of the deal. Nobody at YouTube ever went to Alex Jones or anyone.
Okay, so this is amazing. We're talking about this woman's case, okay, and the fact that she did have a partner deal. She did obey the terms of service, and she was denied her contract. The contract wasn't violated by her. It was violated by YouTube. And you're just pretending there was no contract, that she somehow signed up to be randomly disposed of by some random YouTube employee who hits a button and says, ha ha ha, I demoted somebody. Hey, who else can I demote? I demoted them. I demoted them. I'm controlling the world. Demote, demote, demote. And that's not far from the truth. They're little emperors sitting at their keyboard just basically saying, I'm going to fuck you. I'm going to fuck you. It's fuck YouTube. Yeah, fuck YouTube. Yeah, I work at fuck you tube. And he's defending it.
Someone else has said, now, Mr. Artist, we promise that we'll make you rich.
All right, not part of this conversation. Again, half her views, okay, her videos were put on the second tier, second class citizenship, and you haven't produced one piece of evidence, fat old little Shanky, not one fucking piece of evidence that she did a single thing to violate the terms of service. Not a single piece of evidence that a single video clip that she produced violated the terms of service. Not one piece of evidence produced by you.
That is not part of the First Amendment, and that is not part of YouTube obligations.
Yeah, they have a contract, the terms of service. You're saying she broke the terms of service. She was treated badly because she violated the rules. You haven't proven it. You haven't demonstrated in any way. You haven't in any way shown that she went through a perfectly valid appeals process and was demonstrated to be clearly wrong and in violation of the terms of service. You haven't done any of this trial at all. You're just persecuting the victim and protecting your corporate fucking pig trough, you fucking pig. God, you fucking suck. You just so fucking suck as anything called a rational, fair, honest progressive. You fucking sellout.
And you're not allowed to go and incite people to shoot them and kill them.
She didn't incite anybody. Nobody incited her. So again, what part of the subject are you on here? What are you talking about? So Alex Jones can't honestly say he can empathize, okay, with somebody trying to exercise her free speech rights. And the irony is that Alex Jones probably has absolutely nothing in common with the values of this woman. Probably nothing, except maybe he doesn't like anal sex. Maybe there's something he can agree with her on, but otherwise, the whole vegan thing and everything else, that's probably horribly obnoxious to Alex Jones. And here you are doing this ridicule like he had some self-interest, like she was some sort of gun nut that she wasn't. She didn't make gun videos. She didn't make violence videos, fight the man. Well, she did make fight the man videos, but it's a different man entirely. I mean, this is so fucking ironic.
If you were under the mistaken impression that they owed you money. If you like the
again, it's always about the money, not about the demotion and the view count. Okay, and clearly the money matters. Clearly, for people trying to make a living, or even subsidizing, or even paying their expenses for producing videos, the money matters. I mean, I'm not going to be dishonest. I mean, money matters. I mean, I wish I could afford better stuff and do better stuff. But, you know, this is just such bullshit to say that people shouldn't be aggrieved when they're financially harmed because they didn't commit any crime. They didn't do anything wrong and they lose half their money. If I take away half your money, you lying piece of shit, you're not going to like it. You're gonna whine a little bit.
This video, bless your heart.
Yeah, fuck you. Bless you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck YouTube. Fuck you. Yeah, tube. Yeah, so anyway. It's just such crap. Why did they come back to this subject? They had no reason to come back to this subject and spew more of this puke. No good reason whatsoever. So anyway, but they used Alex Jones because now that's just, everybody hates Alex Jones on the left, so that's just the perfect mechanism to use to platform their crap. And so you can just see how malicious their thinking process is they couldn't even find a more honest representation of the people blaming YouTube. They had to go find Alex Jones. They had to find somebody dirty as hell to make it look like, oh, that's just crazy to talk about corporate responsibility. And again, the irony, it's just so ironic. Alex Jones, is supporting corporate responsibility, and you people are fighting him. And you're making yourself look good doing that. You're making yourself look like as much a duplicitous, opportunistic manipulator that Alex Jones is. Alex Jones is obviously manipulating the victim too, because he has no respect for her speech or what she was talking about. You're manipulating. You're just all manipulators. Insincere, unprincipled, manipulative, self-interested pigs. Ugh. So anyway. Alright. That's probably enough. Sorry about the banging. I have some bad habits. I have to fix that. Someday. Yeah. Alright, well, like I said, I'm not satisfied with this video. I'm not satisfied with this subject. I don't like it. The whole thing is really nasty and messy. But like I said, I don't have any it's not like I have some genuine empathy, don't get me wrong. But it's like, the overall story, if it just was blobs of stuff, like they just said some content producer went to YouTube, did this, and after a response from this, if I did it in big blobby things and didn't look at it in any kind of, let any pieces of it interact with me subjectively, you would just say, yeah, it's just human nature, it's just the way things happen, blah, 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 you're going to have to, blah, blah. But the more you look at it, the more specific you get, the more obvious that this was clearly something YouTube could have prevented by just being a little bit decent. Just a little bit decent. And it's the decency that people have been screaming for a fucking decade. A decade we've been requesting some better mechanism than this stupid brick wall bullshit. And in 10 years, they haven't been willing to up their game one tiny bit. In fact, they downed their game. They made the game even more bricks. They just put more bricks in front of the wall. And the fact that these assholes can't see that that's the clear facts here, it's just fucking obvious that the reason they don't see it is they're too busy looking at their diamond rings paid for by YouTube. Their little platinum button or something. The glare has got them too distracted.